good evening, champions. And I say champions because we are all champions in our own very right, overcoming and sustaining life. Welcome to Mommy Talk, where we share information that increases knowledge in support of positive parental engagement that's real, relatable, and right on time. Come talk to us each and every Monday from 7:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. on 1340 a.m. and 96.7 FM WCHB Detroit. Also, be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Mommy Talk Network. That is MOMMIE. And check out our new and improved website, www.mommietalk.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to call in to us here at Mommy Talk at 313-837-1340. Again, that's 313-837-1340, where you can engage with us on the air. This evening, I would like to send a special shout out to all the champion grandparents. National Grandparents Day was actually September the 8th, and it was a law signed in by then President Carter in 1978. I didn't even realize there was such a day. Did y'all realize there was such a day as National Grandparents Day?
You know, it's so many days.
I know. Every day is something else. Yeah. So I just want to especially honor the grandparents this evening and shout out to all the grandparents who support their grandchildren in so many ways. Some make huge sacrifices to care for their grandchildren, and many grandparents are raising grandchildren. Thank you to all of you. And I would like to send a special shout out to a champion parent, a champion mom, and also she always calls in and say she's a champion grandparent. My Aunt Harriet, her birthday is today. I love you dearly.
Harriet.
Yeah, happy birthday. No, it's okay.
Happy birthday.
So she turned 21.
You.
Happy birthday to 21. All right. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I love you dearly, and thank you for supporting me and my children. So how was your weekends, ladies?
Short.
Short?
Always short. My weekend was short. You know,
Okay.
when you busy, when you running from here to there, it goes very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a very great weekend. It was safe, and I relaxed, and I did a lot of washing. I went in the basement and realized, whoa, what is all of this? It was just a pile of clothes.
So you did your winter cleaning, not your spring cleaning, your fall cleaning.
I'm having a cleaning party. Y'all want to come?
Oh, yeah.
Session 2, part 2.
Look, Lisa.
Well, if part 1 is at my house.
Yeah, I was on auntie duty, great aunt duty. My spending some time with my great nephew Carson, who's
Hey,
2.
Carson.
Yeah, we celebrated his birthday last week at the circus. I shared that already, but yeah, it was part. I had a double duty last week with my nephew, so that was awesome.
My kids have not asked to go to the circus this year, and I'm
They
not
probably
trying to be
sensitive
funny.
to it.
I'm just not in the mood this year, and I think these bees are getting on my nerves.
Oh, my God.
Although once you get in a circus, you don't experience the bees, but it's just like if you have to wait in a line, just going through that process. I'm so tired of swatting bees.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Because I literally was fighting a bee this morning, and I couldn't believe it. I won. I took... For real, because I took that sheet of paper that was in my hand, and I was like, I hit it. And to my surprise, it ended up on the floor. I couldn't believe it. And then so I just hurried up and stepped on it because it looked like it was in pain or whatever.
Oh, wow.
That was the compassion side of me. But what's up with this
I don't know. It is a lot.
It's just that it's that time of weather where it's almost fall and it's not really like super, super hot. And then I think the mixture of the rain, some days it rains and I think
I'm not a fan of bees.
year.
Let me tell you, if I see a bee, you want to see me run. I'll run, but let me see a bee. I'm running.
I got stung at our event.
Oh, yeah, you sure
Yes,
did. Elisa
Dr.
saved
Bird.
you. Yeah, you sure did. Yeah, I think it is an onslaught of bees. But when I went to the circus, we didn't have to wait in line. We just went right in.
Y'all just walked in. That was good.
So that's something for Layla and Dion if they want me to support
They
them.
love to go, but it's just funny. They haven't said anything, and I am not bringing it up. Shout
I'm
out to
surprised
the
Dion didn't say anything.
I'm surprised too, but I love the Universal Circus. I love it every year, but I'm kind of this year if they don't ask, I'm gonna keep on moving.
And it's not, and you know what? It's nothing wrong with that, Miss Lisa. It's
good to
really
take, you
nothing
can
wrong
take a
with
break.
that.
I know I just haven't been. I was looking at some pictures. I think my sons was probably like 8 or 9. You know, they like 19 and
And it
20
is,
now.
it's
So
such
it's
an
about 22
amazing
years ago.
It's such an amazing event. I mean, like I don't understand how they do half the things they do.
Yeah, they had some motorcycles. Let me tell y'all about the motorcycles. I probably said it last week. Those motorcycles were exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was doing some
Maybe on
really
a string, on
off
a piece
the
of
hood.
thread.
Yeah, no, they was like going like, and they had like a ramp, and it's like boom, like. You know,
Oh, the
I know
circle.
people can't see me. I'm talking about some like emotion.
She has hand gestures, guys.
Yeah, so it was awesome. Yeah. So, hi, this is Miss April, and I would like to personally thank you for listening to Mommy Talk. You could be doing anything else this evening, but you decided to commit your time to us. I'm definitely appreciative of you. Well, we are appreciative of you. But remember, you can call in at any time with a question, comment, or concern at 313-837-1340. Again, that's 313-837-1340. So this evening, we will discuss school uniforms, to be or not to be. Traditionally favored by private and parochial institutions, schools uniforms are being adopted by U.S. public schools in increasing numbers. Mandatory uniforms policy in public schools are found more commonly in high poverty areas, according to an article I found on the internet. Now, proponents say that school uniforms make schools safer for students, create a level playing field that reduces socioeconomic disparities, and encourage children to focus on their studies rather than their clothes. Now, opponents say school uniforms infringe upon students' right to express their individuality, have no positive effect on behavior and academic achievement, and emphasize the economic disparities they are intended to disguise. So what's your take on uniforms, ladies?
I think that, it depends on the individual, but probably more so the school and how they implement the policy, because I don't think it's not mandatory, but each school can implement their own.
I thought it was mandatory.
I don't know. I was looking at a few, like I was going through like Michigan.gov. I was trying to look through the different policies, but that I think that goes against like I don't know what it is. It goes
Probably like
against
No
something.
Child Left Behind. It's a lot of
It goes against something,
rights.
but a school can't implement the policy, but a parent that I found, a parent can challenge it. It's just in most schools, parents don't challenge it. The school implement whatever their policies are, and then people just, roll with it.
Yeah. Well, I know all the Detroit public schools now. I know Henry Ford, when I taught there in 2018 and 2019. Yeah, it was 2017, 2018. They didn't have a uniform policy. They just implemented. I think they were the last school with DPS to implement their school uniform policy.
Yeah, I know it's like semantics, but like with DPSCD, it's really not a uniform. Like the school side implements the uniform policy, but like the central office and the forms, like if you look, we have a dress code policy. So you cannot really, I don't know if the word is discriminate against a student if they come to school with a different shirt, like, like a different color.
That's good information. Mhm.
Yeah,
But what they have to do, they have to be in dress code. The dress code says, like, they have to have a shirt and a pair of pants. So, really, but it's good for parents to support their school with what they're trying to do. But really, DPSCD, we have a dress code policy.
Yeah. And I like this. I actually put this on my Facebook page about a week ago, and I was trying to get different, opinions of how people felt about the uniform policy. So Dorian Evans, I'm giving you a shout out because today she said she's for it, but she believes that schools should have an emergency closet. And I thought that was important because a lot of people, like as Ms. April said about the uniform policy being being implemented for the purpose of what is it? Even going
Economic,
for
socioeconomic. Yeah.
for kids not to be bullied and stuff like that. But it doesn't take a uniform policy for kids not to be bullied, because they'll still be bullied, because you still have kids that may come to school with dirty clothes and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
got
that.
their higher end uniforms and their
Yeah.
lower end uniforms.
Yes.
And to say that with the emergency closet, I know a lot of schools, all the schools I've went to, there
They
is
usually
an
have it,
yeah,
yes.
emergency closet. Now, what the uniform shirts look like, I know what conditions they are in. I'm not really sure, but I know when I taught at East English Village, when I taught at Persian, there was a closet where the kids can go in to get a uniform shirt, and not necessarily
Yeah.
pants, but there were always uniform shirts.
Yeah.
So from a parent perspective, as far as uniforms, I believe uniforms are easier. And we
Yeah,
always want
they
something
are.
that's easier for me.
They
So I just
are.
wanted to go pick up uniforms for my sons. We
Yes.
already had what they wanted to wear,
Yeah.
so we could just lay that out. It was just easier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And then some parents even find a way. Like one of the comments, I can't get to it fast enough, but one of the comments, parents sometimes always find a way to make their kids stick out.
Absolutely.
And because if it doesn't matter, if they were dressing flamboyant before then, believe me, those particular parents,
They're going to
kids
find
are
a way.
still gonna be
But like I said, you
flamboyant.
have your higher end uniforms.
Yeah.
Like you have your polo shirt, your polo pants, and
Yeah.
maybe your Gucci shoes, your whatever.
Then
your
they go
Gucci-
to the Gucci belt.
Yeah, Gucci belt. And then, so to me, well, as from a teacher perspective, I do believe that uniforms create uniformity.
Yeah,
The students
absolutely.
are look-alike and whatever, and,
And it looks
easy way to
nice.
identify the
It does
students.
look nice to walk in the building and see the kids in uniforms.
Yeah, but I don't think
think
it necessarily helps socioeconomic. Like students are bullied because
They're
of
still gonna
uniforms.
be-
Yeah,
get
they're still going to be
bullied.
bullied
Yeah.
because, like you said, you got higher end uniforms, you got lower end uniforms, and people just look different in their uniforms. It depends on how they dress it up, what their conditions are at home. So that all plays a part with their uniform.
Right.
So they are different, and
I like the idea of uniforms in school.
yeah, I do too, because as from parents, it's easier and it's uniformity. But I don't believe that it decreases bullying.
Right.
And that was the major reasons why they bought uniforms, because they said, well, it'll decrease bullying because all the students are look-alike. And that's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. And I think it does teach discipline, so to speak, because you have certain jobs where you have to wear a uniform.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
so I think that there are some benefits and disadvantages.
Yeah, because you can teach the
or-
kids to wear polo and then the slacks or whatever, and make
Right.
sure it's ironed. And
And-
some schools, I know, like Jalen Rose Academy, where Mr. Nellums teach, they make them, tuck in their shirts, wear belts.
Yeah.
And make it ironed and pressed. So they're more presentable, so it does teach us, different skills to be presentable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think that different schools can get creative with the uniform policy. Like, okay, say for instance, with certain students, maybe we'll have a dress down day Friday, which most schools tend to do. And then also, I love when different schools do like the Spirit Week. And I
yeah.
like when they include all the kids. Like, I know the seniors should definitely be highlighted and have their own
they take
Spirit
over
Week.
for Spirit Week.
They
They
do.
do,
But
yeah.
I think that it should be available for the younger kids as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Because usually, of course, the seniors are the leaders, and they're more so geared because it's their year, and they're more excited for the senior activities, and that's a deemed senior activities.
Right.
But I know also, like within Spirit Week, some things have been banned as far as what the kids can wear and what they can't wear, as far as uniforms, like pajamas. I know the kids, when I was teaching, when I was a senior sponsor, they couldn't do the pajamas.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't do like the what's that, gender switch? What is that
Oh,
called?
the gender bender.
Yeah, the gender bender. They didn't
Yeah.
allow that anymore. I guess because of the sensitivities with
Yeah.
the LGBT. So
Yeah.
it's different things. You still have to be careful
Yeah.
when you're doing or
And
planning.
sensitive.
When you're planning the Spirit Week, and make sure that you're following the law accordingly, and and being sensitive to all the students.
Right.
I think there are benefits to having students wear the uniform. So just thinking back from when I was in the classroom, I think right now we're using the term loosely when it comes to bullying. And I think that we have to be very careful when a student does something, how we identify their behavior and, how they violate either a student code of conduct. But from my experience, because students have been wearing uniforms, I haven't, like, you'll hear people play the dozens or you'll hear them roasting, but you don't necessarily hear them talking about, the uniform that they have on. Now, you might hear them say something about the shoes, like, oh, they got on biscuits. But I think having the students wear, a uniform does prevent them from talking about each other and their clothes. Like,
Okay.
because I've never wrote a student up for, oh, you're bullying this person because they have on this or they have on that. And I think we can see that when it comes with Free Dress Day as well, too, So,
I have a question. What are biscuits?
like, when they be like, what are those? When they talk about the shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And
like,
biscuits.
yeah,
Wow.
so that's what they call each other, shoes, when they play in the dozens or anything like that. So I really do feel that the uniform does help keep students safe. It also helps schools identify students that belong on campus and those who don't.
Yeah.
And then also, and it's funny because in the summertime, I'll probably ride in the neighborhood and I'll be like, oh, this the same child that was complaining about wearing the school uniform, but you got the uniform on in the summertime. Have you all seen that?
Oh, yeah.
They just want to complain. They just want to complain just for the sake of complaining, just to have something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they usually they'll complain, but they usually enjoy the rule that's in place. But yeah, they just like to complain.
But this is a shout out to the champion students. You all are so creative when you come up with these names. I just want you to use your powers for
biscuits?
good.
Talking about biscuits.
Yes. Use your
That's
power.
where we was at.
For good and not
That's
evil.
so old. They be like, what are those?
I remember that. I never heard the biscuit part. I don't know. Maybe I was hungry and really thinking about biscuits.
I don't think I heard of that too, the biscuits. But that's that is an old term. Yeah, but I do remember they was like, what are those? Yeah, I do.
And every time you say that, I've said it, but not meaning. Like I might, if someone brought something to me and I'm like, what is this or what are those? And they'll just start cracking up. I'm like, oh, I wasn't talking about that.
Oh, yeah, no. When you say what are those, you gotta strategically point to the shoes, like, what are those? And then they'll understand. Yeah, they'll definitely understand what you're talking about with that. But yeah, I guess we just have to be sensitive. I guess, they just institute laws or different rules to be more sensitive to the students and create uniformity. Yeah, I definitely agree with the uniform policy, but I don't agree, like I said, that it decreases bullying.
Yeah. And I think it depends on how
I think it's bullying in different areas. I think it decreases it minimizes the bullying as far as when it comes to talking about students' clothes.
Oh, no, I hear all, and let me tell you, they can
still get,
They
have
do.
kids who-
They do.
How many cases have you all seen like, oh, I'm writing this student up because they're bullying them about
I don't write students up
I don't
for
write a
bullying
lot.
for their
Well, how many
for their-
cases have you all heard about because
hear
of
it all
I mean, you
the
just
time.
more so.
I hear it
of
every
clothes?
day. Yeah.
I don't write students up because of that. I usually,
don't write them up
we
either.
kind of discuss
So
it.
hey, here you go. While you was thinking about the food, while they said biscuits, where was I? Because I'm all like, I don't remember. I just really don't remember, children being a big issue of them talking about each other clothes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They'll
Definitely.
talk about
They do.
anything.
They will. They be like a ring around your. They'll pick out anything. They'll
I
ring
mean, the
around your
dozens,
collar.
yes. Like, I can get that, like, the dozens, but, like, serious, like, bullying, like, oh, they're bullying me about because of, my clothes.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah, it
it's
happens.
just-
I
Daily.
hear it daily. Like,
Yes.
I have to often because, I'm zero tolerance when it comes to kids talking about other kids. I don't like the bullying or anything, so I have to stop
Unless
them.
they saying biscuits and you start thinking about food.
Hi,
Listen,
caller.
we have a caller.
Welcome to Mommy Talk. Switching, look, here you go, switching over. Hey, caller, welcome to Mommy Talk.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, ladies. How y'all doing today?
We're fine. How are
We're
you?
good. We good and silly over here.
I hear. But, I thought the uniforms came about because and it's been a long time since I've been to school, forever. But I remember because people were stealing people's gym shoes and stealing their jewelry.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to discuss about that. Yeah, that was an important part. Yeah.
Wasn't that wearing the uniforms, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, so students were being robbed and things were being stolen from students. Yeah, that was big. And you don't necessarily hear about that. Maybe their glasses getting snatched.
Yeah. But then that was why the uniform started, I think.
Right. Yeah,
And
for
then
robbing.
now it's probably different, but I just remembered that, and I just wanted to make that comment.
Oh, we appreciate you for calling and added that in because we did forget that.
We did forget
Thank
that
you.
piece, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why it's such a blessing to have the callers call in.
Yeah, help remind us and jog our memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, ladies, well, y'all have a blessed night.
Okay, are you a champion
Love you
parent?
all. I'm a champion parent.
Of course.
And I want to say happy birthday to my sister, Harriet.
Oh, happy
Yes.
birthday, Harriet.
Happy birthday,
She's 21.
Harriet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, there was a lot of incidents where students were getting robbed.
Yes.
I don't necessarily hear about that anymore. I'm not saying it doesn't occur.
Yeah.
Oh, I did hear about a student. He got his. It wasn't funny, but where he was laughing when he was discussing it. He was like, I was just standing at the bus stop and I was talking on my iPhone, and somebody just ran by and snatched his iPhone. This is why I was teaching that Persian. I was like, what? I said, what you do? You ain't run after him? He was like, no, I'm too big to be running after somebody.
Yeah,
So I
and
did
I'm
hear
just
about
like,
that.
and then that's funny because I'm like, I teach my children, it's not worth dying over.
It
Just
really
if somebody
isn't.
say something, just
You
let
right.
them take it. It can always.
But your
take
natural
place.
instinct is to try to get it back.
It
But you're right.
does.
You're right.
It
It probably
does.
was safer for him not, because people are crazy.
Yes.
And they act like they stuff is yours.
But
Yeah.
let me ask you guys, if you heard, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking this question. So if your child came home and someone had stole something from them and they were like in the vicinity, what would you do?
I'm riding to die.
Because I'm asking, because this is
I'm riding
this is
it
based
down.
off of Power last night when Keisha went. Was that?
Oh, no,
yeah.
I thought it was based off of real life true story.
But it is a real life true story.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm also, thinking about how Keisha went last night and got her sons.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, I don't know if I would go down to the block and get my sons. I'll probably call my family and go get it. I don't know if I would. But in the case of my child's bike getting stolen, I'm definitely riding around trying to figure out where they bike at. Tell them about your story, Lisa.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. Very quickly, my son, my daughter, and my play niece, they had went to the store around the corner. My son rode his bike. The girls walked. So when they went in the store, they came out. My son's bike was missing. My daughter called me like someone stole Dion's bike. So I'm like, I was on the phone with Miss April. I'm like, girl, I gotta go. They stole my son's bike.
I know, and I should have been like, oh my God, what happened? What happened?
Yes, but I'm telling you, so I rushed out the house, and for some reason, my remote on my garage was broken, so I tried to go through the app and close it, and I'm telling you, everything was just slow that day. So finally, by the time I got the garage closed, the kids were already coming home. So very long story short, we rode around the neighborhood to see if we could find it, rolled up on the
Yes,
house.
rolled up.
And found a similar bike. Well, not the similar bike. It was the very same bike as my son's. And so I asked the children if they can ask the parent to come out. And I spoke to her. As I began to tell her the story, I looked at the bike and I'm like, oh, no, that's not his bike. Because it was older. My son's bike was new. So I'm like, okay, we had just done the champion parent book bag giveaway. I'm like, listen, how many kids you got? I'm going to come back and bring you guys. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I had to find my son's bike. So anyway, went back to the store where my kids were. The man, Mr. Harris, bless your little heart, because he had put my son's bike inside the store because he said, I told that boy, I told him not to leave the bike outside.
Yeah.
And so, we had
So
to
you
go.
riding down on people.
I'm riding like the whole neighborhood.
Yes,
And
I
I'm-
called her like 30 minutes later, and she was like,
Yes.
I'm still riding around.
And I wasn't getting ready to do anything violent, but
I
I'm just
know.
like,
You wanted to find your son's
yes,
bike.
I wanted
right.
to find it because I'm like, that's just money I didn't want to have to replace.
Exactly, and it was very good that had champion neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
champion
yep.
business owners who look out. So it's a
Yes.
good thing that he put it inside the store.
So
You
shout out
gave them
to
book bags as
Yes.
an apology.
Yes, shout out to that parent, because I don't know how I would feel if someone rolled up to my house saying that, my kid has stolen a bike. So she was very a good sport about it. And,
Right.
you
Yeah, I'm
know.
sure she's appreciative of the book bag.
Yes, I hope she appreciates the book bag, and I hope she checks us out. Hey.
From all the
And,
flyers you left.
And
I know.
you still have to be cautious about that
Yes.
because you have some irrational parents.
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
You know,
That's why I said I
Everything
appreciated the
ain't
way she
gonna
received
happen
me.
like how it go down
Yeah.
on Power,
yeah,
It sure don't.
absolutely.
So yeah,
That's
Because
why
like,
you go
I
try to
asked
fight
because-
somebody kid, they coming to fight you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then you
Yeah.
got to think about it. If kids do things like that, you got to think about, you don't know what type of environment they're coming from. So if that's something they were used to, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, But I do always encourage it. I appreciate it. I think my son appreciated seeing me, work so hard for him. But I also wanted to show him how you handle,
And you always handle situations good, though.
I
I
hope
think you
so.
came non-aggressive and very non-confrontational.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's important, too, because you come being rowdy. They be
I
like,
ain't want no
"What?"
problem. She could have had
Yeah.
that little $89 bike.
Yeah, I understand that.
And then I think when it comes to uniforms, we have to really think about what the goal of school is. You know, it's good for students to be able to, have self-expression and express themselves, but they could do it in a different way. They don't have to come to school. It's not a fashion show. That's not what you're there for. So, when
A
they
lot
say,
of kids feel that way, though. A fashion show, look, community forum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's just
That's not what it's for,
That's not
but-
what it's for, So, like this argument when it comes to self-expression, there's other ways. There are different, projects that the students could do. Different, like how you used to write in your journal. They could join, clubs and things like that. There are other
your
avenues
newspaper, journalism.
besides students coming to school trying to show off their apparel.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, and unfortunately, as the years go on, with so many different programs and just different outlets, everybody need outlets. We know we need outlets, so you can only imagine what children need. But just with so many things being taken away from schools over the years, what else do they have to look for other than now? There are things coming back.
Yeah, they
but
finally bringing
those
art
are-
and music
yeah.
and things like that.
But
That was
we gotta do
gone for
something.
some years.
Yeah, yeah, we have to do something to take these where they're only interested in the phones and
Yeah, give them
and
some extracurricular
materialistic
activities.
stuff and
But there are teachers out there who used to volunteer their time, just as Miss Lisa sitting next to me.
Yeah,
You used
I know
to
she
do
had an
the-
art
we used to
class.
the dance,
I used
remember?
to, yeah.
The dance, and then when we used to stay after school and work with the children, volunteer our time so they could
Yes.
put on plays for the community in school.
know.
So I mean, there are avenues that teachers are out there trying to volunteer, for students to be able to self-express themselves.
And kudos to Detroit Public School Community District teachers, because there are a lot of you that give your
give
time.
and give and give.
Absolutely. Hey,
Okay,
Miss-
so we got
Miss
one last
April,
call.
Did you start a journalism club
Hey,
as
caller.
a teacher?
Hi, caller. Sorry.
You said I had to be quick. I just wanted to pitch in and say that I do support the idea of enforcing uniforms.
Okay.
My reasons are because while I do understand the pressure of keeping up with a certain look, there are materialistic parents that are bringing their children up the same way, and
Yes.
these children are cruel. Many of them have no regards for others, and when you combine that with societal standards of what's acceptable, and everyone's supposed to look a certain way, and if they're not, then they're not acceptable. They're the rejects of society and the butt of all jokes. The backside is that enforcing uniform policies is institutional in a way. Why should parents have to dress children a certain way, right? Shouldn't we have freedom of choice?
Yeah.
But I think, though, that once the parents instill values into their children, only then should it be free reign. To some extent, parents have to take responsibility for the behaviors of their children.
That's right.
Yep. Okay.
It's on TV, but no one's monitoring what their children watch.
Yeah.
So I just think the uniforms are a safer route, especially when you have children suffering from depression. Some are actually committing suicide. You know, it's unfortunate because you want to think that people are mature enough, but the fact is they're not. You know, and like I said before, the adults behave the same way. I mean, even in schools that enforce the uniform policies, children are allowed to wear whatever shoe they want, and that's fine because it isn't prison. But they make fun of each other's shoes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right. Yep. And thank you for calling in with your important thoughts. We appreciate you for calling in.
Yeah, that was well said, like a champion. Are you a champion at parenting?
I think she's gone, but yeah.
Yes,
it's
thank
about
you
that
so much.
time.
Oh yeah, but that was really well said. So you just heard the champions of parenting. No, the champions of parenting.
Yes, talk about school uniforms.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to us, Dr. Pert and Miss April.
Yes,
You know,
signing in.
I don't know
signing
what I
out.
would do without these two. They keep me laughing all the time.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, parents.
Thank you for
Tune in
listening. Next week. See you later. Thank you for listening to Mommy Talk, the champions of parenting. And remember, you too can be a champion of parenting. Continue to support and love your children. For additional information, you can contact us at info@mommytalk.com or visit our website at www.mommytalk.com. We can also be found via social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mommy Talk Network. Please listen to us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on WCHB's Detroit's Gospel Station.
Come talk to us.